Buy pin oak trees wholesale from T&N Nursery. Cursus palustris, the pin oak or Spanish swamp oak, is an oak in the red oak section Cursus laubate. It is native to eastern North America, mainly in the eastern United States, from Connecticut west to eastern Kansas, and south to Georgia but not Florida, across to eastern Oklahoma. It is also native in the extreme south of Ontario, Canada. The pin oak is also well adapted to life in Australia and is quite widespread across the Australian continent, especially in the cooler southern states such as Victoria and New South Wales. It is also well adapted to life in Argentina, especially in the Rio de la Plata region. It is a medium-sized deciduous tree growing 60 to 70 feet tall with a trunk up to 3 feet in diameter. It has a 25 to 45 feet spread. A 10-year-old tree will be about 25 feet tall. The crown is broad conic when young, with numerous small branches radiating out from a central leader. When older, some branches become quite large and the central leader is lost, while the lower branches gradually droop downwards. The leaves are 5 to 16 centimeters long and 5 to 12 centimeters broad, lobed with 5 or 7 lobes. Each lobe has 5 to 7 bristle-tipped teeth. The sinuses are typically U-shaped and extremely deep cut. In fact, there is approximately the same amount of sinus area as actual leaf area. The leaf is mostly hairless except for a very characteristic tuft of pale orange-brown down on the lower surface where each lobe vein joins the central vein. Overall, autumn leaf coloration is generally bronze, though individual leaves may be red for a time. The acorns, born in a shallow, thin cap, are hemispherical, green, maturing pale brown about 18 months after pollination. The acorn is unpalatable because the kernel is very bitter. The species usually lives only 90 to 120 years. It is a naturally wetland tree and develops a shallow fibrous root system, unlike many oaks, which have a strong, deep taproot when young. It is confined to acidic soils and does not tolerate limestone or sandy Florida soil, and grows at low altitudes from sea level up to 350 meters. The specific name palustris means of swamps, a characteristic shared by a few other oak species and also some beeches and hornbeams, is the retention of leaves through the winter on juvenile tissue. Pin oak grows primarily on level or nearly level, poorly drained alluvial floodplain and river bottom soils with high clay content. Pin oak is usually found on sites that flood intermittently during the dormant season but do not ordinarily flood during the growing season. It does not grow on the lowest, most poorly drained sites that may be covered with standing water through much of the growing season. However, it does grow extensively on poorly drained upland pin oak flats on the glacial till plains of southwestern Ohio, southern Illinois and Indiana, and northern Missouri. The level topography and presence of a clay pan in the soil of these areas cause these sites to be excessively wet in winter and spring. Pin oak is monoecious. Flowers appear about the time the leaves develop in the spring. Staminate flowers are borne on aments that develop from buds formed in the leaf axils of the previous year. And pistillate flowers are borne on short stalks from the axils of the current year leaves. Pollination is by wind. Fruit is an acorn that matures at the end of the second growing season after flowering. Acorns are dispersed from September to early December. The bark was used by some Native American tribes to make a drink for treatment of intestinal pain. Buy pin oak trees wholesale at tnnursery.net.